Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
Hey, hot doggers. My name is Dan, and this is 52 Weeks of Dogging, a weekly series where every week we discuss a new topic that teaches you how to start and run your own hot dog cart business. On this episode, week 3, we're going to talk about starting costs. Another big question that I get is, how much does it cost to get started? How much did I pay for my cart? How much are my permits? How much is my inventory? How much inventory do I buy? These are all common questions. And today, we're going to cover all of them. So let's get started. First, we have permits. We discussed permits in the last episode, so I'm not going to spend too much time on permits. Short answer is anywhere from $100 up to $250,000, $250,000, and if you live in an area like New York. The majority of the permits range between $100 to $500. Obviously, if you live in a metropolitan, packed area, might be a little more, might be closer to $1,000, maybe a couple $1,000, depending on how busy or how populated your city is. Permits are going to run you anywhere from $100 to $250,000. That's something you need to refer to the permits, the previous episode, and call and talk to the people in your area to find out what your permits are going to cost you. Cart. Let's talk about carts. So there's all kinds of different carts. So you can get a cart for $1,000. You can get a cart for $10,000 to $15,000. It really is going to depend on your needs, your budget, your city, which is going to tell you what you have to have on your cart, because a lot of the extra stuff is going to cost a little more money. Might cost a little more money depending on where you get your cart from. If you buy it new, if you buy it used. Carts are generally going to range from $1,000 up to about $10,000 to $15,000. Now, what I want to do, I'm not going to go too much into detail on carts, because I do have a whole episode dedicated solely to carts coming up soon, very soon. In fact, I think it's the next episode. We're going to talk strictly about carts. But you can buy a used cart. I bought a used cart, for example, for I believe it was $2,000, maybe $2,500. And it was a big dog cart. If you're not familiar with the big dog cart, it's one of the most popular hot dog carts. One of the most popular hot dog carts in the manufacturers in the country. I am going to go ahead and show you some of the pricing, and it's Ben's Carts. You can Google Ben's Carts, or it's HotDogCartStore.com. That's HotDogCartStore.com. Now, when you purchase a cart, and this is why I tell you to reach out to your city first. When you purchase a cart, the cost of the cart is going to depend on the options that you get on the cart. So make sure you talk to your city first. If you don't need to have 4 sinks, if the manufacturer of your cart, where you're getting your cart, charges extra for 4 sinks, and you don't need 4 sinks, there's no sense in paying for 4 sinks. If your city county does not allow you to have a grill on your cart, there's no sense in paying for a grill on your cart. So make sure that you contact your city, county, state regarding permits, and you have a full 100% understanding of what you can and cannot have on your cart. But you can see that they have this HotDogStore.com. It's Ben's Carts. He's also got a YouTube channel. One of the biggest hot dog YouTubers, hot dog cart YouTubers on the platform. This is his cart. He manufactures these carts out of Tennessee, and I've owned 2 of them. One of them I purchased used, a big dog cart, and I purchased one of these specific carts, Cash Cow. I purchased from him brand new. I went down and picked it up from his shop. So if you look, they have all these extras. Grill, $285 extra. The rollback top, an extra $107. Third wheel, an extra $40. An extra $500 for an on-demand sink and water system, which you're more than likely going to have. Or
From HomeyAdvisor.com. Installing a water softener system can
Alexa,
cost as little.
Stop. She does whatever she wants, huh? So you can just add a cooler if your city doesn't require you to have a full-blown water system. You can just throw a cooler in there, another cooler, for $279. So the cost is really going to depend on what options you get on the cart, whether it's used, whether it's new. You can get, like I said, I bought my big dog cart, and I'll show you that here. I bought my big dog cart for $2,500, and I actually have a video on my YouTube channel. If you go back, there's a video of me buying the night that I went to look at and buy my big dog cart. And I bought that used off of somebody else. Like I said, it was about $2,500 is what I paid for it. It had the grill on the side. It had all the options with it. 4 sinks, on-demand water system, third wheel. I mean, it had everything with it. So, except for the cooler rack. Let's see. Didn't have a chest or freezer. So I paid $2,500 for it used. Here with everything, that was a $6,000 cart. Basically, it was a $6,000 cart that I got for $2,500, and I did have to put a little bit of work into it. It cost me about $500 total to bring it up to basically brand new. I replaced the gas lines, replaced the water heater, it was a brand new cart by the time I replaced everything and fixed it up, and it still only cost me $3,000, which is half of the cost of brand new. So for a cart, if it's your first cart, you're financially strapped, it's highly suggested you might look at a used cart. Might look for get on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, if Craigslist is still even a thing. I don't know. I haven't used it in a long time, but if you're financially strapped, when you're looking for a cart to buy, you try used first. Or just as an option, another option, you can always do what I did. You can rent from another vendor. It costs you a little extra money, but you can rent a cart from another vendor. And this is in episode 1. We talked about building relationships with vendors as part of your planning and research. Building relationships with existing vendors, people who are doing it already in your area. You can possibly rent a cart from one of your local vendors during times that they're not using it, and you can actually operate under their permits if you did that. So that's a big money saver to get you started. So this is the big dog cart here. $6,000. You can probably get it used nowadays $2,500 to $3,000. And that's just for the cart. It would be the cart, umbrella, and maybe some pans. Pans, we'll talk about that in just a second. Actually, that's next. So pans, if you don't have pans, if you buy used, generally if you buy a brand new cart, it's going to come with all the pans you need. If you buy a used cart, it may not, or it might have pans that are just in horrible shape, and you're going to want to replace them anyway. You can also, from Ben's Carts here, you can also purchase pans. For a good solid pan setup, I bought a whole set of pans myself, actually, and it cost me right at about $500. Now, of course, I got the pans that I got were like this. They had a hinged lid. The lid was connected. They're just flip top lids. As you can see, these are a little more expensive. 22 up there, 39 down there. So they're a little more expensive. But that's just how I wanted to do it. You can get the cheaper pans that have lids like this, where you can just pull it on and off as needed. Those are a little bit cheaper. If you get a set like that, you're probably looking maybe $300 or $400. And again, that also depends on how many pans you need. I have double steam tables on all of my carts, double steam tables. So I'm basically getting two sets of pans. If you get a cart that's only got one steam table, similar to what we saw on the cash cow cart here, it's only got one steam table on it. See, it's got all that extra space over there. That's only one steam table. So if you have that, where it doesn't go all the way across, let's see. See how this goes all the way across on this one? You might not be able to see it, but it might be too small for you. But that's a double steam pan. That's what I spent $500 to get. And then there's this one, that's just a single steam table. So it would have been probably half the price. So pans, you're looking, we'll call it $300 to be on average if you buy them new. So you're looking $300 for pans if you buy new pans for a used cart. Remember, if you buy a new cart, it's going to come with all the pans you need. So, cart, like I said, you're looking, depending on whether you buy used or new, anywhere from probably $2,000 is the cheapest I've seen, $2,000 up to about $10,000 to $15,000 for a nice big fancy enclosed. You step up in it, you're out of the weather, kind of like a food truck but smaller, and it doesn't have all the deep fryers and stuff. So you can do that for about $10,000 to $15,000 on the more expensive side. Now, other expenses you're going to have besides permits, cart, and pans is your city and health department, your city, county, health department, and state requirements. I'll give you an example. My health department requires that we have, as I explained in one of the previous videos, one of the previous instructional videos, my county requires that we have water pumps that are automatic shutoff. They're pressurized. So on several of my carts, that wasn't an option. I had to, they gave me the water pump with a switch where you have to turn the pump on and off to push the water through the sink. And so I had to pay extra to replace those water pumps with the water pumps that my city requires. I paid about $150 per pump, and then I paid a mechanic $100 to put them in. So about $250 each, about $500 just in water pumps for the two carts that I had to replace water pumps on. So we have that's a miscellaneous expense. You may or may not have that. If these carts, if you go to Ben's carts here, all of his carts are pressurized. They come that way. Not all manufacturers do that though. Other requirements from my city, we're required to have a trash can. We're required to have lighting that actually puts out a specific lumens, very specific brightness of lighting. We have to have ground mats, which is basically like if you imagine a rubber, think the floorboard in your car, a car floor mat. It's a big square size floor mat. It's basically what it is, to keep grease from dripping onto the city property. So that is an additional expense to get started. And then we have paper towel holders. We have to have those. Cleaning supplies. You have to have a broom. I already said trash can. You have to have a dustpan to be able to clean up the area when you leave. There's all kinds of extra expenses. I estimated those expenses to be about $300 per cart. Probably get it less, and most people have this stuff just laying around the house anyway. A lot of people have, extra broom for the garage, or whatever the case may be. I just estimated $300 if you're buying it all brand new. So, long story short, your starting costs are going to be what you have to research. They're going to be only you can figure out what your starting cost is going to be. You know your budget. You know how much you're willing to spend. You know if you're going to buy used or a new cart. You know if you're going to rent a cart. Even if you rent a cart, you're still going to need the paper towel holders, the lights, the cleaning supplies. You're still going to need that stuff to clean your cart with before you return it back to the person you're renting it from. You're 9 times out of 10, if you're renting a cart, it's going to come with pans. They're going to give you pans. Pans are usually, in all the vendors that I know that have multiple carts, they have pans that are assigned specifically to those carts. They're usually interchangeable. Some manufacturers, they're custom, but usually the pans are interchangeable, can be used on any kind of cart. But most businesses who have multiple carts have a pan set that's assigned to that cart. So most of the vendors that I know have pan sets assigned to individual carts. So on the low end, you're going to have inventory as well. That's another one. So inventory, I can tell you, is going to depend, A, on how much you want to sell, B, how much you want to make. And this is going to come down to your pricing as well, which we'll get into that in a later video. Your pricing is going to determine or dictate how much inventory you need to purchase to meet your revenue goals, your sales goals. Inventory, if you talk to Ben, the guy that owns Ben's Carts, HotDogStore.com, the guy that manufactures carts, he said in several of his videos and his book, he's got a book you can buy, Hot Dog Saved My Life, I think it's what it's called, where when he first got started, he didn't have a lot of money. He had a hot dog cart, but he didn't have any money. So when he first started, he was set up on the side of the road, and he had to keep sending his wife back. He was buying hot dog packages one at a time, two at a time, as he made money. As he would make money, he would send his wife to the store to get more. So his first time out, he didn't even take a full day's worth of inventory. That's how hard up he was at that time, I guess. So, but he still got started. He still did it. He still went out. He still sold hot dogs. He made money, and he grew from there. So some of you may have to do that. That's part of chasing your goals. So outside of that, you have permits, cart, pans, miscellaneous expenses, and you have inventory. Outside of that, so I would say, honestly, I got started very cheap, probably $300, because like I said, I rented a cart. I didn't have to worry about the permits or anything like that. I didn't have to worry about all of the extra stuff. They already had the permit. I rented the cart. So all I had to do was buy inventory and pay them to rent the cart, and that's what got me started. That might be an option for you if you build, like I said, build a relationship with local vendors in your area just to get some experience and maybe save up some money to buy your own cart. That might be an option for you. So if you're going to buy your own cart, I would, without knowing what your permit costs are, this is excluding permits just for supplies, inventory, and cart. You can get started for about as cheap as $3,000 to $4,000 to own your own cart, used cart. You can get started for right around $3,000 to $4,000. So that covers startup costs, and that does not include permits, by the way. So that covers startup costs. On the next video, we're going to cover carts in depth, in detail. We're going to look at several different styles of carts, and we're going to talk about the equipment that comes on the carts in the following video. So stay tuned, stick around. The next video is going to come out next week. This video and the past 2 videos have come out 3 days in a row because we're already 3 weeks into the year, so we're caught up. So from here on out, it's going to be every Monday at 6 p.m. Every Monday at 6 p.m. Stay tuned. We're going to premiere just like we did here. It's going to be a premiere. I'm going to be in the chat on the premiere with you, watching as you watch it. So stay tuned. Subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you get notified when the videos come out. And I will see you next Monday, 6 p.m. See you next Monday at 6 p.m.